Alrighty guys, and welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 70738, the final flight of Destiny's Bounty. That really wasn't the final flight, because it didn't, die, and it's coming back for the Ninjago movie, so there's already another set based on Destiny's Bounty, albeit a different version, but, so the name doesn't make too much sense, but it is a pretty cool, name for the set, and it contains 1,253 pieces and retailed for $119.99. In addition to the boat, it comes with this rather substantial side build of a dragon, which, is nothing special, nothing unfamiliar to the Ghost army from, the Season 5 Possession, because they do get quite a few dragons, but this one is kind of unique because it's technically a wyvern. It only stands on its hind two legs, and because of that, it kind of always ends up being really tall whenever it is actually balanced. I guess that's probably the best you can do for making the figure actually not falling off, but point is you would be flying, so it works like that. It does get two joints in the neck. This one is a lot looser because it can twist, because it is one of those Technic ball elements, and it's on like an axle, so the head is a little bit loose. It falls off a little bit just because of that. It's not as tight a connection as some of the others, but actual head looks kind of weird. Like as a side build, I think it works, but if this was a main, the main feature of the set, I think that it would be relatively poor. Basically, this is just to provide something to, cause this to be the Destiny's Bounty final flight, I guess. But, you got eyes there, you got a mouth, a really weird one, but the teeth are there. When it's closed like that, I think it works okay. But, I do like the rest of the dragon build quite a bit. I like the wings, using these pieces. Little claws are good on the ends of the wings. They do kind of poke up off of the body, though. They're not like going straight out, so that's another little kind of weird aspect, but I think overall everything works, and it does have this one joint here which allows you to, I guess you could try and stand it like that, or the head is balancing, or you can rear it up, which is, how it would really be done if it was, trying to stand on its own, because it is, a wyvern stands on its hind two legs. And it does have this nice, long, very flexible tail. But there's just a little seat up there. The little chains going up to, that serve as the reins for the dragon, kind of go up there, and actually you should probably sit him back on those back two studs so that he can look like he's actually, controlling the reins of the dragon. But overall, I think that, it's a decent thing. It's surprisingly big for what you would expect it to be, and it does look menacing. And what I like is that they kept the color scheme consistent on the bottom, mainly because you're going to be seeing the bottom a lot. But I think that it's a decent little build to give the Ghosts kind of a fighting chance against the absolutely massive Destiny's Bounty. It's pretty big, especially with this mast piece attached on the front. That does take up a good chunk of the length. Like this is pretty much about that length, so it kind of takes up, I'd say, about a quarter of the overall length. But it works, I think. It actually doesn't have a bow like that in the show. It's just, it ends at the dragon head, which, speaking of the dragon head, the top and bottom can hinge if you want, so you can make it look like that. These parts are a little bit loose. They might tend to fall off a little bit more than the rest of the dragon, but I do like the look of this thing for the most part. If you don't look too hard, it kind of becomes a dragon. However, I feel like this would have been an appropriate use. I know they don't do this very much, anymore. They try to avoid it, but I think this would have been appropriate to use the molded dragon head from like the Ultra Dragon and the Epic Dragon Battle set, just because that's exactly what the bow of the Destiny's Bounty is designed to look like in the show. So I think that it would have been appropriate to use that there. However, I appreciate their effort. It just doesn't look a whole lot like the one in the show. There are some stickers on the side, and I like this section here. Kind of, fills out the bow. However, then we back up a little bit, and it kind of becomes a little emptier, and it actually gets thinner. So if we look at it from like a top-down view, you can see that the front widens up, and then it thins down, and then the roof makes it wider, but it really just uses the engines to take up that space in the width. But there are some cannons here on the side. We'll take a look at these little chests later and their contents, but it does store the ammo in there, and it has a stud shooting cannon function where if you insert the studs there, which yes, it does tell you to put all the ammo into that little crate, but then you just push down on this. You can see there's a sticker on that Technic beam. There's another one on the other side, and you just push it down and it will fire them. If you do it slowly, it'll go one at a time, kind of, at a very, slight offset or delay or whatever. But, I think that it is a working function, and, does a decent job. You got a couple of storage space is up here. There's a printed lock piece on either one, and inside you just have a kick call out, a crowbar, and a katana. This chest can go anywhere. It's just I just threw it on there to show that everything can fit on the deck. There is a good amount of deck space here, but it does kind of fill up when you start to put more figures in there. It fills up quick. And there's a little printed control console on either side of the mast, which we'll take a look at the mast and all the mast related functions later. And all the stickers that are on this side of just the details of the ship are on the other side. The engines look good. There's a function with those, but we'll take a look at that later. And, I like the use of the rice hat there to kind of give it a little bit of texture or, shaping. Some stickers on the engine. I like those lanterns. They use the shiny gold colored radar dish and some minifigure heads in a trans medium blue, I believe. The roof of this looks appropriately oriental, and there's some function up there as well, but inside we do have a stickered control panel with 3 different displays and a little rat up in the roof, or a mouse with some cheese. So that's kind of neat. And this in the back also has to do with some kind of function, so we'll take a look at that later. I do like the way that they designed the side walls. I think that they do a good job of using the taller pieces to make it all fit. And then there are these doors in the back, which I suppose you could consider that they open up, in order to, allow access into the back or out from the back. But when we look at that function later, you'll see why that doesn't make too much sense. And I like how they use this little prison bar window piece to make a little bit of a staircase. But that's a look at most of just the appearance of the model. The other thing to look at is these sails. They are a plasticky material, so they kind of bend weirdly. They don't hold their shape. Like, they tend to droop down, but then cause problems with the function. And this here is a nice printed dish. It's one of the weird Technic ones, so it doesn't have studs on it at all, but I think that works really well for the design on there. I just wish that was not a blue Technic part. But the wings or sails look pretty good, but they have a function to them. This is their regular default mode, and that should be on top, I think. But as you can see, the sails are fold in on each other. But I guess I should turn the ship around because the other side is where the activation for the function is. And if you pull this down, you can see it gets caught because the sails were caught. But when you pull this down, it will it'll turn the sails to their you know, flight position or whatever, you know. And when you put this, if you let this fall back down, it'll lock it in a place. This is their fully open position, and I think that that looks good. But you can just flip this up and it will fall back down to regular position, assuming it doesn't get caught on anything because of the stupid sail material, which is probably the biggest complaint that I've heard about this set, is that sail material. You know, if it was the papery sails that were flatter and, you know, kind of held their own shape a little bit firmer, then it would work better. But yeah, just with these materials, or with this material, it wants to fold in on itself and not work properly. So it is kind of a shame, but I think when you can get it working properly, you need to warm it up a couple times, you know, do it over and over again, and then sometimes it'll work great. But I think that even with the fact that it doesn't work properly all the time, you can get it to the position you want, you know, just using your hands and then this thing. So I think that the fact that you can lock the sails into a position is good. And I also notice the way that this is slanted down. It rests on two ball joints. But that's pretty much all there is for the appearance of the ship and one of the major play features. But there is one more really big one. Alright, so I needed a bigger camera angle for this one. The entire ship, in the center, there is a Technic axle, which will fall all the way down as you, feels like I put a little bit too much friction in this axle there, so it doesn't fall as freely. But it is a handle, so you can kind of hold the ship like that, and I think that that is good. And when it's, you know, not in use, it'll be suspended like that, so it doesn't take away from the looks of the model too much. But the reason that I need this handle is to activate the other big play feature, which is this spring-loaded shooter, that when you pull it out, it retracts the engines in an interesting configuration. It's kind of tough to do, you know, with one hand and watching the camera, but if you pull it back like that, the front blade folds and there's a hinge within this engine assembly. You can see these Technic anchor points are how the entire thing, you know, happens to work like that. And this back here does have a sticker and can be rotated all the way around, like so. And it is a spring-loaded shooter, and you can shoot these Technic kind of harpoons, or I guess they're not Technic, I don't know what I'm saying. But it does pull down the two levers that are in the middle of the control center. You can just shoot those out like so, and that's how that works. And then when you're done with that, you can put that back, or you can leave it out, because this is kind of flight mode. And this is kind of when it's on the water or on the ground or whatever. So anyway, I think that that's a pretty cool feature, and I really like the motion of those engine pods. But let's move on to the figures now that we've pretty much seen the entire build. Play feature associated with the roof has to do with this little handle right here. If you just pull all that back, it just slides out, and it leaves the roof kind of open, but it'll give you this little assembly here, which is a little workstation area. It shows Nia using it in the set because, you know, Nia kind of does that kind of stuff. There is this nice large sticker here on this banner piece, which looks cool, I guess, and it works really well when you have it folded up because it continues the black color of the roof. But this just contains a tool set missing a couple tools, which I just threw into one of the crates, and the leftover ones, that is. And it does have a printed piece there, the caution stripe, and the bike just attaches to that right there, so you can pull it off. And I think that it looks pretty cool. It's got the ray guns and the goblet pieces used to show exhaust engines, and it uses two of these butterfly swords in the front to make it look different. It is a little weird that it doesn't have the wheels, but I think that it works well the way it is, and looks pretty nice on the most part. Relatively finished because it is the standard piece. And yeah, overall I think it looks really good, and you can fit a figure on it just the same way you'd fit a figure onto a regular bike, because it is built basically the same. So it looks cool, and you can just fly around with that. So, and it does just clip right back on there. And yep, you do have to remove a figure to hide it up in the roof though, and it just closes it up like so, and slides back in using these, and then it's completely out of the way and you don't know it's there. So, well, you do now because I've showed you, but a normal person would not know it's there. Before we move on to the figures, we're just going to take a look at the extra little accessories that are included. There is a chest here, which inside includes Master Wu's tea kit. So, you just can insert the little plume of smoke into the teapot, so it looks like it's boiling and steaming, and then you can just pour it into the coffee mug, and Sensei Wu would drink it from there. But I like the inclusion of the black color for the chest. You don't see it all the time, so it's a nice thing to get. And and in here there is well, I guess technically it doesn't tell you to put these tools in there, but I just did, because they're the leftover tools from what we'll see later. And there is a cutlass piece, pirate sword, a broom, and this little pirate hat, as well as the ammo for the spring-loaded shooters. There should actually be one more stud on top there, but it kind of disappeared on me while I was, demonstrating the cannon play feature, so I didn't spend like an hour looking for it, but it'll show up someday. So Sensei Wu and Cole are the first two figures that we'll take a look at, and Sensei Wu has his, traditional staff, but it also includes this little golden plant piece, and the realm crystal is attached to it, so that's pretty cool. The realm crystal is an important artifact in the show, and as far as the possession wave goes, it only appears in this set and the Moro Dragon set, so it's kind of cool to get, but Sensei Wu never actually attaches it to his staff, so it's kind of weird. Cole gets this little built-up weapon here, which, zero show significance, just included to add play value, and an arrow blade, which is a little weird that they give Cole two different arrow blades in the season, but I guess he's kind of an important character in possession, and this one also could be considered Sensei Wu's, because every set it comes in comes with Sensei Wu and Cole, so, well, there's no real clear answer, but it's gotta be one of those two. And Sensei Wu has his golden hat, Cole has his regular mask, and his traditional 2011 face. The torso and leg print on Cole is, typical Deep Stone. Sensei Wu's outfit is the most common one that he gets ever, because it appears in the Dimensions pack and a bunch of stuff, a bunch of sets from this wave. I like the torso print on it though, so it's pretty detailed, and the back print is good as well. But pretty much all of it is covered by his beard, which we will put back on, and his face is, the typical Sensei Wu face. So, pretty, non-exclusive figure, but a very nice one and cool to get. Cole, has the Deep Stone outfit, and we'll just take that off so you can see his back print. But nothing super special. However, he does also come with his hairpiece. I nearly just grabbed Nia's, but there we go. Cole comes with his hairpiece in addition to his mask in this set, so it just gives you an extra option. Nia and Lloyd in their Deep Stone outfits are significantly less common. They only appear in this set and the Temple of Airjitsu, both of them. And they have, you know, Deep Stone mask, dual molding. I like Nia's color scheme there. Kind of unique to Deep Stone. And like Cole, they both come with their hair pieces. Lloyd has his 2014 on face, and Nia has his standard city face because she's not special, I guess. Her weapon is a dagger with a water-colored cylinder. Torso and leg print looks really good on both of them, and they do both get back print, which we will take a look at by removing their faces. It is interesting to note that Nia is the only Deep Stone variant to get a different colored shoulder pad. She gets gold, everyone else gets black. And Lloyd has some katanas in his shoulder pads. Nia only has one, but there are their back prints, and just put them back together, and yeah. I think that they're both nice figures to get, and originally were more interesting before Temple of Airjitsu was revealed, but, you know, still the cheapest way to get them, and, you know, you're going to want to get this set if you like Destiny's Bounty anyway, so I think that it's okay to throw in some exclusive figures. However, I wish that they would have been easier to... That's not the right mask. I wish they would have been easier to get as well, just because all the other ninja from this wave were pretty easy to get, I guess with the exception of Zane, but like Kai, Jay, and Cole appeared in pretty much every set, so it would have been nice to see a little bit more variation in, you know, the ninja appearing in each set. Bansha and Gultar here don't really want to cooperate because they both have really large weapons, but Bansha's is this dual-bladed blade using this cool ghost blade piece, and Gultar comes with this dual-sided scythe, which uses a bright green bar, so, you know, looks cool and works well. But both of them have the ghost tail piece, as well as these shoulder pad kind of things. Gultar gets this purple hat, and Bansha, if her head comes off, oh, okay, that worked well. She gets this, which is used by most of the regular, you know, ghost warriors. And it's a pretty cool piece, dual molded, you know, looks good. Their faces are both nice. They don't have any print on the back of their head, I don't believe, unless there's some really subtle print. No, Bansha has nothing. And there is her torso print, and from the back, Gultar does have backhead print, which we'll take a look at in a second. He does get one of the rebooted masks, and that's a really nice look for his face print. And there's the back of his head. Torso, you know, relatively simple, but it looks good, and shows some of his spine through the back as well as from the front. And I think it's nice that they went with kind of a minifigure skeleton looking appearance, so it kind of looks like the classic Lego skeleton underneath. But, you know, if you want to see more about any of the ghost figures, I don't want to spend too much time on each one, so I have done a minifigure showcase for some of them, and I'll keep doing more in the future, so if there's any that you'd like to see, let me know in the comment section. And Soul Archer and Moro are a bit more interesting than the last two. Bansha and Gultar appeared in quite a few sets, but Soul Archer only appears in this set, and this one is exclusive, I believe. And he also appears in the Master Wu Dragon, but he has the ghost tail there. His face print is really nice, and it does go on the back as well, with just that band. He has the same armor piece as Gultar and Bansha, but, you know, a different torso, and the legs, I believe, are printed with an exclusive color, similar to Bansha's legs in the Titan mech battle. But he does come here with just the standard, regular minifigure bow, so not the special one, the compound one that was introduced for Hawkeye. But, you know, it does have this different mask piece that is used for Wraith as well. Moro has the swords in the kind of spring green color, and the torso has that cool dragon symbol. The legs are cool. The figure, for the most part, appears in the Moro Erditsu Flyer set, but the cape is not included, and the cape looks really cool. You know, it's got that tattered look to it. That's the word I'm looking for. There's the back print, but yeah, I like the cape piece a lot. I think that it makes him look better, but it's not, show accurate. He actually doesn't have that. And the face print that he gets is pretty cool as well. And he gets a rebooted mask here. I think, yeah, he does get the rebooted mask in the Moro Erditsu Flyer too, so, the only thing exclusive about this one is the cape. And I have a feeling it probably appears in that color in other sets as well. We do also get 2 Screamers in the set. They're not really attached by studs, so hopefully they don't fall off as I spin this around. But, they have each of the 2 face expressions and can be attached to a minifigure headpiece. So, just take Soul Archer for a second, and, you can attach them on like so. Looks a little weird, but it works. And one of them comes with a banana, and one of them comes with dynamite, and they each have an actual weapon as well. So, I like the Screamers because they, add a little bit of characters. They add characters to the set without adding too many pieces or prints. And last but not least is Spider with a Y, and he comes with the, butterfly sword piece with a spider attached to it on the stud, and has the same mask as Bansha. Torso print is the same as all the generic, Ghost Warriors, same with the face. And, yeah, he's a pretty generic figure, but, I believe this is the only set where he's named Spider, so technically he's special, right? Not really, but he's the pilot of the Ghost Dragon. And pilot, makes it sound weird, but, that's basically what he is. So overall, the Final Flight of Destiny's Bounty is a very good set. I feel like the value is pretty good. I feel like maybe it could have been, obviously it would have been better cheaper, but, that's how everything is. I think that $120 is justified, but in order to align with, the value of some of the more recent Ninjago sets, I would have liked to see it at $110. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the price. I think that it's just, feels a little bit higher just because of the, low prices comparatively of newer Ninjago sets, especially, taking a look at some of the, sets with ridiculously low price to piece ratios, like the Dragon's Forge, stuff like that. So it feels like you do get what you pay for, though. This is definitely a large build. It's large for, a Ninjago set. It was up there, I think, for a while. I think it might have been the largest Ninjago set ever released until, like, a month later when the Temple of Erditsu was revealed. But, I think it held that spot for a month. So, it's a good sized build and good selection of figures, especially. Definitely a highlight of this set in the Ghost Wave, where most of the figures appeared in multiple sets. Nia and Lloyd managed to stay exclusive to this one, so that's cool. And overall, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comment section down below about this set as a whole. I think that it is significantly better than the older Destiny's Bounty. The look might not be as classic, but I think that they did improve on a lot of things. However, there is one major complaint, and that's the material of these sails. They just don't work with this material. So, and I guess I didn't show you the underside of the sails, but it is a little ugly from the bottom because it is all Technic parts and not designed to look good at all. But the rest of the ship, I think, looks pretty great, and I don't have too many other complaints besides the whole sail feature. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.